Alright, now we have three maps. We have a displacement, a normal, and an OCC. And we have to use these together to create a textured block that looks like a TV. Okay, we need one more thing, and that is the texture. Okay, and in order to get the texture, we have to go back in time just a little bit. Okay, back in time states that there was a time when I had a picture of an old vintage TV. So let me go get that. And we have to look for this stuff. This weird kind of veneered wood. Alright, so let's go look for that. Now, we want this stuff to be very high res. So go to search tools, go to size. We want larger than, and our mapping should be, around 4096. So I'm going to choose 15 to 13 megapixels. Ooh, that's pretty good. Vintage wood. It's pretty good. It's kind of high res. It's kind of naughty looking. So we're going to try it. We're going to copy that. And I'm just going to dump it on my OCC map. Okay, we're going to go get some more. With that color in mind. I like that color. What's this? Nope. I like that too. That's that stuff that you saw faces in when you were a kid. With like being horrified by a wooden wall because you saw something in it. Not that I'm scarred. Ooh, I like this. That's some good stuff. Copy that. Throw it in a pile. So at this point, I'm just collecting wood samples. Oh, this one's a good one. It's awful cracked looking, so throw that in a pile. Alright, so that's pretty good. Oops, I gotta let it load all the way. Hey, this is like 1980. Copy. Paste. Good. Okay, so we should have some layers. This layer is useless, so let's get rid of it. And I'll start out with this. First off, we have to shrink this down. Pretty good too. And we have to now think about scale. So it's just like that palette. If you think about it. But we're being a little bit more careful this time. Taking my eraser and just cutting back on some stuff here. Now I want some variations, lots of it, so I'm going to dip into this stuff a little bit. I think this is a different wood altogether, but we're going to try to blend it. Yeah, because I believe this is birch, and the other one looks like oak. I'm going to see if the oak and the birch will be okay with soft light. Oh, there we go. We got oak and birch. And it presents a little bit of a yellow tone. That could be knocked back a little bit. So I'd like to keep this with the color. I think that's a nice, and it does add some noise to it. You look real carefully, you can see that noise. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this knot. So I'm back on this layer again. Now keep in mind, I'm going to be hopping around quite a bit here, so try to keep up. Let's say I got this board and I'm happy with it, and I want to take it and put it in one layer and use it again. Alt. Again, let's erase the end a little bit. Let's erase the other end. Flip it around, see if it looks better that way. Oh yeah, that looks a lot better. So I like to kind of do this in stages. I keep getting I'll get a base texture, I like to call it. Then after the base texture, I'll look for another texture, and then another. So I'll probably just make this all one thing. And that way, if I put a base texture on top or something different on top, you'll definitely see the difference. To help with this visualization, let's double click on this and put it to the top and set it to multiply. Oops. So you really can't tell. And we'll lock that out so I can't move it. So you really can't tell too much about like the stripes. So sometimes you could be too picky on this stuff when all this is a base texture. Okay, I'm going to go back down a few. There we go. Got a good base down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to take and merge these down. Control E, making one big texture. And I remember the soft light thing I had, so I'm going to choose to use that also. And I'm just using this for soft light, so it's a color thing. Now it's a little harsh as far as the orangeness of it, so I'm going to merge this down and then desaturate it a little bit. Image adjustments, hue saturation. I'm going to desaturate this. Okay, and I'm going to do some magic with the clone stamp tool a little bit. And I'm not going to see anything in this TV area anyway, so I'm wasting my energy there. Nice. Okay, we got this big, awesome texture. We can use it again. Make sure it doesn't spill out onto any of the other things. This needs to be flipped around for this one. Stretching. Again, make sure it's not spilling out on anything else. Okay, so we got a base a little bit. Now we want to use a couple of these maps, so let's use the displacement map. Let's grab this displacement map and edit, copy it, and bring it over to the OCC and paste it in. And we're going to set this on top, and then we're going to change it to be something else, like overlay. All right, look at what that happened. Is it added all kinds of goodness to it. And we can switch this by just using the wheel mouse. So if we want like Bioshock is versus a nice subtle version. Got overlay. So there's a lot to play with here. And there is no right answer. It's just whatever answer you come up with. Okay, let's look at this. Ooh, boy, that's kind of horrible. I'm going to get rid of this layer so I don't use it. Okay, now what we need is a little bit of roughness to it. So here's my base. I'm going to deal with that, and then in the next video I'll add some second base to it, some wear and tear.